Hi everybody, it's Felix here from the Heart Centre. I've just come to do an energy update. I don't know how long it's going to be today. My world has kind of gone a little bit upside down with some family emergencies. So I will deliver what I can at the moment and just kind of attempt to draw some dots as to what's been going on universally as well, with what I've been kind of picking up before the family emergency. So obviously we've also been in Lionsgate as well. So I'll kind of touch base into all of these things as well. Um, so just a quick update. On the 2nd of September, we've got the Self-Care Monday, which is at 6 p.m. Then 5th, which I'm not sure if I'm 100% going to do yet, just purely because of this situation. um, and just planning my time really, is the Psychic Healing and Development on the 5th of September. Then the 7th and 8th, I'll be in Stockport at Rosemary Douglas's Health and Healing Fair. I think you can find out the details on that on www.rosemarydouglas.com. I will leave the links down below. Um, then on the 20th, I'm running an online equinox recalibration that I would do normally every 6 months. Followed by the day afterwards in Leeds at Open Source Arts. I'm running a Unity in the Community Day of Healing, which is a family-friendly event with sound baths and obviously I'll be doing my holographic work. There's going to be some breath work, I think, and uh, mediumship demos, etc. These kinds of things, just to get people together and get people embracing healing and embracing each other, which I think at the moment we really, really need. I know that the community aspect has been a real kind of help for me at the moment, which I'll get into during this update. Um, so that event is called Azurite, and you can purchase tickets on my website. I think they're like £6 for an adult, £4 for a child. And then there is a family option as well. Um, Followed by the group grid session on the 26th. And then 28th and 29th, I'm in Manchester again, this time for White Lights. So that's kind of my online schedule. I'm still open to doing sessions online at the moment. But if, which I don't think is going to happen, if anything were to go badly within this family emergency thing, then obviously I would be postponing sessions to deal with that. So we'll start with the family emergency. So basically, just after Lionsgate, my mother had a brain aneurysm. It was a week ago, on a week Monday ago. So let me find the dates. Um, on the 19th of August is when she had it. Um, and this has been a real crazy, crazy, crazy event. Um, yeah, it's been a real flurry of emotions, which is completely understandable. But basically, my mom is currently in the ICU ward, and she's been in a coma for the past week. They've started to wake her up. But effectively, she had a blood clot, or she had an aneurysm that ruptured. Um, and the rupturing, basically, it's like quite a bad bleed. It's like a stage 4 out of 5. Um, and what over the progression of the week is that they started to wake her up after the surgeries. So she's on like a light sedation, and then gradually they started to change her medication, things like that. And the doctors kind of believe that she may have had a stroke during that time, about the 7 to 10 day marker. Um, so within that, it's they basically had to change her medication, put her on a high dose of high blood pressure, etc., to open the blood vessels, but obviously this puts strain on the heart as well. So yesterday she was looking really good. My brother was saying that she looks really good. I'm going in today. And I've been in pretty much every other day. Um, apart from when I had to go back up to Leeds. So yeah, it's been a real challenge to kind of process all of this stuff. But just before this event happened, um, just I think it was probably the 9th of August, um, maybe a little bit later, maybe the 10th, something like that. I felt increasingly called to go really deep into meditation, and through every layer, um, place a commitment to God. And this was a process that I've never really experienced before. This unconditional commitment on every layer, every dimension, every kind of fragment aspect in every realm that I kind of faced. It was about anchoring this commitment. So we're looking at even into hell realms, into covenants, dark covenants, and shadow layers, and satanic imagery. It was always about kind of facing the devil or facing the demons within, and committing myself to God, basically. And through this process, I felt like a complete full purification of my body and fields on every level. And the process, the process installed such strong faith and trust that I was able to kind of face any kind of layer of fear. Um, and this changed my whole perspective of dealing with emotions and dealing with fear-based consciousness. And it's always about coming back to the faith and commitment to God is the driving force that pulls you through these scary kind of thresholds of dense emotion. So this process of commitment continued through the week, and then landed on about the 19th when I got the information about my mom. And as soon as I got the information, I was kind of in a bit of shock and disbelief as to what had happened. So I sat down and watched a video. I opened a video just to kind of, I guess it would kind of be to bypass or to stabilize or to numb out, I suppose. But as I kind of sat down and opened the video, the first words, the first sentence in this video that opened was, "She will wake and she will paint again." And my mom is an artist. She paints every single day. And she's currently painting the divine feminine imagery of the Bible, the wives of the men in the Bible, or something like that. Um, and this is like a series that she's actually doing for her church. So that was really significant to me. This process of what I'd been through the week before, deep commitment, this unconditional commitment, built this unwavering faith and trust. And through this message, it kind of opened up the end result, which is her obviously being able to paint again and coming back round as a big process of rebirth. So if we're looking at this on a global scale as well, what I've noticed with Lionsgate is it's a wonderful period, so much light that comes in, but any area that's been kind of stuck or stagnant is also kind of fed to reconstruct or break down or demolish. Because a few years ago when this happened with me is I ended up getting like a cyst that came after the Lionsgate. And this cyst then ended up in me having to have a surgery to remove it, and that was this year. So there is something in absorbing in this influx of light, which is then, it may not be for everybody, but I know it is for me and my lineage at the moment, is this process of taking in all of this light, which then reconstructs the body matter, and somewhere that process of trauma needs to go somewhere, basically. So we've got this absorption of light coming in very, very high quantity. And then this digs up all of the density, all of the trauma, all of the goo, all of the sludge, and brings it up to the surface to be seen. But when the mind is unconscious to processing or doesn't know how to process, this is when it can result in illness. And I think this is really important to kind of raise and to understand that we are our own psychologists, we are our own kind of sentient healers. And as soon as we can start to tap into our own resources and our own technology, divine, organic, biological technology that we can do in a multidimensional facet, we're able then to kind of take the trauma up to the surface and be able to see it. And this is the kind of function around these gate periods when we've got such high function of light coming in. We're given an opportunity from a healing perspective, we're given an opportunity to mass review chunks of information like that can spread over lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes, intergalactic information, personal information, you name it, it can be accessed and sourced at this level and at this time. And for that, it is an amazing thing. On the other hand, for those that aren't adept at doing so, this can then come up and erupt as aggression, as anger, as frustration, but also as blindness as well. Not physical blindness, but blindness to yourself. And this is the opportunity that we have to really kind of dig deep and go inward, is to rediscover what we've forgotten about ourselves and address the belief systems from that time period in order to reconstruct it into the present day belief as to who you are today. Now, this understanding of who you are today will bring you closer towards your alignment with the personal Christ. So what I've also been digging up within this time is a repair of the 10th gate, a repair of the 10th chakra, the 10th dimensional field, and the Shara complex. And this Shara complex acts as a kind of we'll call it like an information highway that runs through your energetic light body from the avatar layers, so 10 to 12 dimensional layers, and interlocks into the lower quadrant. So your highest layers of self are able to merge into your lowest layers of self. Now, understanding the process of natural forces, if you've got this very, very high priced light that's merging into the body or coming in or transiting through the body, this then triggers the depths of the reverse of the shadow to bring this back up into balance, into awareness, and change the storyline on the negative, really. So that being said, when we connect into this higher light as a force, we're then given the opportunity to review the counterbalance to that force, which is it can be quite chaotic. So going back to this whole experience with my mom, the mindset that kind of came up over the probably the second to third day after the second day when it happened, so the Tuesday, I drove down to Birmingham, I got into the hospital, and when you actually lock eyes with the imagery or with the patient, or my mom in this case, the trauma all then starts to unravel, and you're being given the opportunity to go through a very deep process of managing, understanding stress, understanding chaos and trauma, and being able to change your perception of how well, you understand your own emotional response as you connect to it. Which then allows you to integrate what your body does when it does connect with it, that kind of imagery, that kind of stress. So through this process of understanding this integration, you're then changing your interaction with the stress because you're integrating the process behind all of it. And what I've also found is the big inlaid traumas that have been kind of swept under the rug or hidden in the closet relating to this person, they all come up and come out for review. It's like you don't necessarily want to face it, or you kind of have the opportunity to face it prior to, and then as it kind of comes, if you have still not gone into it, the opportunity is now there, present, to be reviewed and to be understood and to be loved. And taking everything that you've kind of already gone through, and how you've grown through awakening or through experience from what it was when you were a child to where you are as an adult, that process of learning is put to really good use. And as this process is kind of unraveling, what I've also noticed as well is the connection to peace as well. So this peace vibration, as you're going through all of this anchor or this upheaval of chaos and trauma, etc., you're also pulling in peace on the other end of the polarity to transform, transmute, or I was in my case, luckily more consciously than unconsciously. So yeah, I mean, it's still a work in progress. I'm still going through it as my mom's still in hospital at the moment. But it has been a phenomenal period of growth. What I have also understood as well through this Lionsgate, there was a disconnect or a detaching of generational trauma. That really was made aware to me. I think it was around the 8th of August. This repairing of generational trauma within my ancestral line before this had actually happened. So it was almost as if there was a kind of a separation of myself from the ancestral line. And through this process, what I kind of understood was everything that was kind of circulating through my own field was ancestral. Um, Obviously, we've all got our parts to play within that ancestral trauma, and we always pick them back up again through conditioning. So, what is yours is also your ancestors, is also your ancestors, and what um, it's hard to describe. It's yeah, you kind of you are your ancestors at the same time you are their programs, but it's just about kind of separating out and delineating. And this is what I found with this um Lionsgate, is that there was a separation for myself, at least. I'm not too sure about everyone else, but I feel like it probably was. And this is also tied into the bifurcation and the bifurcation, trifurcation of consciousness, um, split to kind of become more self-sovereign and yeah. So that's been my second half of the month. um, Hopefully you guys have had a more smoother Lionsgate that's been really magical. Um, but yeah, it's been quite full on so far. Very, very, very grateful for the growth um that's come with it. But just praying every single day for my mom, really, and just hoping that she's well, I know that she is coming around, obviously, because of what was said at the start. Um, yeah, full on. So the other bits of information that I've been kind of pulling in through August, um, the main focal point for me has been about dismantling or understanding, well, understanding, integrating, and dismantling alien machinery that's been within my field, and also within the planetary field. And there is something about being able to understand the mechanics of the machinery and what it kind of does to the body that has been really core in processing, and a core development in expanding above and beyond the restrictions of these dense goo-like substances that block the sight, that block the perception, and it's quite painful as well when you go through them. So these machineries, the interaction with hospitals has been one of the things that's triggered it, and seeing them almost kind of attempting to harvest from these locations. Now, the counterforce within that is quite interesting, because there are so many people in there that are doing good. Um, I know we've all got our kind of thoughts on um, what happened through 2020 to 2023 was not in favor of the doctors, but other the injection jab pushers thingies. But in this case, I've seen nothing but love from these people. They're there to do something that they wanna help. Um, so I think it's, yeah, there's levels of them not really knowing what's going on um, at all, and they're just kind of going about their day to day without questioning, other than helping people get better. Um, the alien machinery, what I kind of saw, or I believe actually it was more so like a harvesting station actually, was sat just above. Well, I was given the imagery of it as if it was kind of sat above and absorbing the life force out of kind of ill people, let's say. Um, but then as I kind of went deeper into my own stuff, I was taken through all of these different layers of the multiverse and was shown um, how much inorganic matter is placed through the cosmos. And this is why we're kind of here, is to restore the organic, restore within our time matrix, within our universe, restore um, the organic matter, the organic structures to override and release out the inorganic artificial layers, because these are the things that are causing the damage. And even as I've kind of gone backwards and forwards through processing, the machinery side of things has been the key thing that has always exacerbated negative emotion. It's been the thing that has always driven things like ADHD, driven fragmentation within the central nervous system, which sends electrical pulses and currents through the body, which then destabilizes the ability to kind of stay calm, stay grounded, stay connected. So there is a kind of detriment. Well, obviously there is a detriment, but there's heavy impact on the biological organism that these things do to prevent people from going deeper, slowing down, connecting. And it's these kind of machines that are rewiring, or I would say kind of rewiring. Now, when I've gone into this as well, the deepening of understanding, there is always a kind of contracted connection with a specific race. And sometimes you have to go through 2 or 3 levels of contracts with these beings or these entities to free your energy up from within their machinery. So there will be sets of memories in which one has agreed to play a role within them. But this is the great thing, is once this is kind of understood, you can obviously dismantle the agreements and pull yourself back from these structures. So I was going to talk a fair bit more, but to be honest, what I'm feeling at the moment is that I need to kind of retreat. I don't want to go too much into those machines if I'm going to be going into the hospital later, just purely because it really does raise quite big detriment to the mind and the body, and sometimes you get quite nasty thoughts that come up afterwards as well. Because these things are like reptilian based. It is reptilian and artificial intelligence, so it's not a comfortable experience, and then you'll get quite hounded afterwards if one isn't protected properly. So let's pull back from that, and yeah, I think I'm gonna just close up the talk today. I know my mom is getting better. Please continue your prayers. I really do appreciate it. And she does as well. I know that she does. And every day that I go in and see her, her face looks more and more like her own, and her light looks more settled and grounded and pure. So yeah, it's all coming, it's working. Okay. I'm gonna send you a wonderful amount of love through September and the harvest. I would love to see you at some of these events. And if you can get up to the As You Right event, that would be amazing as well. Just purely for the community aspect of it. I think it's so important that we really sit and anchor as much light as we possibly can at the moment. And yeah, it's really needed, especially these next 2 months, 2, 3 months, they're going to be quite full on through to the American election. Okay, guys, sending loads of love. Bye.